Black Dragon Murakan. Mount Murakan, a place always engulfed by stormy winds, was named after this legendary dragon. From ancient times, Black Dragon Murakan had dominated this land, its power present in every gust of wind, every rock. However, 1,000 years ago, a fated battle erupted. Murakan was defeated by Temar Runcandel. Historical records state that after Storm Castle was destroyed, Murakan fell into a deep sleep. Standing amidst the cold stone ruins, Jin Runcandel, clad in a dark cloak, his face lost in thought. He mused. However, that's not the truth. According to the founder's guardian dragon, those who make covenants with the gods will fulfill it alongside a guardian dragon. Yet, since there's no information about Solderet's guardian dragon, there's been some doubt. I'd understand if it's because Murakan fell into a deep sleep. In Jin's mind, a faint silhouette gradually emerged from the darkness, enveloped by a dense black energy, just like the very essence of the legendary dragon.
Standing before the library's heavy door, a glimmer of hope flickered in Jin. Now that Murakan has awakened, will I also have a guardian dragon? He pushed the door open and entered. Murakan, I'm here. Oh, you're here? Murakan, sitting in the middle of the room, looked up. Jin walked over and placed a box of food down. My nanny prepared some snacks. Take them. He thought to himself, since I'll be staying with Murakan soon, I should ask him everything I'm curious about. This was also why he had kept Murakan in this secret library for weeks. Huh? Why did I fight Temar? Jin asked directly. Murakan, greedily munching on a piece of strawberry cake, chewed noisily and replied, that was 1,000 years ago. How could I remember? Jin quietly observed. The great dragon was sprawled on the floor, one hand propping his chin as he flipped through a book, the other still holding the cake. That sight led him to a firm conclusion. There's one thing I'm certain about Murakan. He's obsessed with strawberry cake. As expected, Murakan began to show displeasure regarding the quantity of cakes. All right, but is this all the strawberry cake? 1, 2, 3. Huh? Only 7 of them? Jin sighed in exasperation. That damn strawberry cake. Placing a thick book on the table, Murakan asked, what are you here for? Jin calmly replied, to transcribe. I brought empty diaries and secretly record everything you tell. Murakan seemed surprised. Huh? Really? So do you understand any of it? Only about 30%, Jin replied. The rest, I don't know. Murakan waved, offering a comforting smirk. Don't lose too much faith. That's a lot for someone your age. Other kids wouldn't be able to do that, and they're lazy too. That's just speaking of normal kids, of course. In the quiet study, Jin's eyes became resolute, and he clenched his fist. I am a Runcandel. This is normal for me. I have 12 siblings. Not only that, I have my father, mother, and elders. If I want to destroy them all, I must strive even harder. Hearing Jin's ambitious words, Murakan's joking expression suddenly turned serious. Jin's gaze shifted to the thick, ancient book on the table, his hand gently tracing its cover. Murakan, he mused, if he is the founder, how much of this book would he understand? In his mind, the image of a legendary figure with long black hair and a majestic sword strapped to his back appeared. Compared to the strongest being in history, he wondered, what would my current self be? Hearing the familiar name, Murakan slightly furrowed his brow, mumbling, Temar? Jin was engrossed in the pages of the book. Suddenly, Murakan's voice echoed, pulling him out of his thoughts. I don't think he could have understood a single line in this book at your age. However, theories don't necessarily have to be correct. He didn't read these books and still fought very well. Murakan stood towering behind Jin. You have potential, just like Temar, he continued, but then his tone abruptly grew stern. But you're not as good as Temar. The words were like a splash of cold water in Jin's mind. His eyes widened, filled with shock and disappointment. The hope that had just sparked within him suddenly extinguished. He bowed his head, his voice trembling. So, I'll never be able to become like the founder? A silence enveloped both of them. Jin waited for a harsh affirmation, but instead, Murakan surprisingly retorted, no? Jin looked up, his expression still bewildered. Murakan pointed at the book on the table, his eyes gleaming with confidence. You are Solderet's contractor, like Temar, and you are smart enough to read those books. Murakan's large hand rested on Jin's head, tussling his hair roughly. You are still young, so don't be too impatient. Practice diligently. Then you will be able to become as strong as Temar. Who knows, you might even surpass him. Hearing those words, Jin's gloomy eyes gradually brightened. A new, stronger spark of hope ignited within him. He looked up at his companion, softly asking, "Is that true?"
With a smug smile on his lips, Murakan crossed his arms and asked, "Of course, hey kid, do you know what Solderet's alias is?" Jin looked up, quietly replying, "No, I don't know." The scene suddenly shifted to a deep cosmic space where a majestic entity clad in a dark hooded robe hovered amidst sparkling stars. A miniature galaxy rotated in his palm. Murakan's voice echoed in the infinite silence, "It is infinity." Back in the room, Murakan pointed at Jin, his tone full of excitement. "Solderet's power is infinite, which means your potential, having signed a covenant with him, is also infinite. So stop moping around and believe in yourself more. To cheer you up, I'll teach you a new technique." Saying so, he unexpectedly poked Jin hard in the chest with his finger. "Ugh, what was that?" Jin winced in pain and surprise. Murakan crossed his arms, a confident smirk on his face, and declared, "Dark energy release." Jin repeated blankly, eyes wide with confusion, "Dark energy release?" "That's right," Murakan affirmed. "Everyone who uses dark energy must become familiar with it. This is both the beginning and the end of using dark energy."
In the book-filled room, Murakan sternly warned Jin, "However, it will be extremely dangerous if you use it without proper study, so learn slowly and carefully." "All right, I will," Jin obediently replied. "So, Murakan, what should I do first?" First, you must learn how to unlock mana," Jin asked in surprise. "Unlock mana? Why?" The boy thought to himself, "I've already done this to death in my previous life." Murakan, oblivious to Jin's confusion, continued to explain. "Releasing dark energy is unlocking and moving mana. You must master these two things." He held up 2 fingers. "From now on, you will have to practice this for the next 2 to 3 years." Jin's eyes widened. He was silent for a moment before resolutely saying, 2-3 years? That's too long." Murakan smirked complacently. "You don't even know the basics, so I can't teach you anything too advanced, understand? For your reference, the next thing you'll learn is how to move mana." Suddenly, a brilliant, swirling blue orb of energy began to form and hover between Jin's hands, emitting a mystical light. Jin replied, "Done," the boy calmly said. "Can you teach me now?" Murakan flinched in surprise. "Huh? No, but how did you do that?" Jin maintained a calm expression, looking at his mana orb, and replied, "I've been able to do this for a long time."
He gasped in shock. "No way! You know how to operate mana? My God! Only geniuses among geniuses can do that. So you're a talented child too, huh? All right then, I'll show you a quick demonstration of what dark energy release is." "Okay," Jin excitedly replied, his eyes shining with anticipation. In an instant, the manosphere in his hand transformed its shape like a dancing blue flame, confirming his success. Murakan stood upright, exuding the majestic aura of an ancient dragon. A surge of pitch-black energy, like smoke, began to emanate from beneath his feet. He spoke in a deep, booming voice that echoed throughout the vast room. "Dark energy originates from darkness itself. All darkness in this world is born from Solderet." His words were like a command. Immediately, the shadows in the room began to stir. The shadows of hanging candelabras, the shadows of towering stone pillars, all detached from their hosts, transforming into vibrant ribbons of darkness. They slithered across the floor and walls, gathering into swirling currents of shadow. Jin stared in amazement at the fantastical scene before him. Dark tentacles stretched long, intertwining with each other and beginning to surround him. They danced around his feet, not with any malice, but rather seemingly welcoming him with joy. Amidst that scene, Murakan's voice resonated again, solemn and powerful. "Therefore, Solderet is the master of all darkness in this world, and you are the only one who has made a covenant with Solderet."
A surge of dark energy suddenly erupted, swirling violently through space. Streaks of black and eerie blue light intertwined, transforming the entire room into a storm of shadows. At the epicenter of the energy storm, Murakan's figure emerged, majestic and full of power. His cloak and long hair billowed in the surging dark aura. His voice echoed, resonating with power amidst the chaotic space. In other words, that means you too can become the master of all shadows in this world. Sharp shadows, like colossal towers, shot up from the ground, enveloping Jin. Murakan looked directly at the boy, his golden eyes shining mischievously and a smug smile playing on his lips. He declared grandly, "This is the unleashing of shadow energy. So, young one, what do you think?" Jin was utterly speechless, his blue eyes wide, reflecting the terrifying yet mesmerizing scene before him. A bead of sweat trickled down his temple as he gazed up at the unimaginable power being displayed. He couldn't utter a word, his mind completely overwhelmed. Under a sky stained blood red, the desolate battlefield emerged after the fierce battle. Monster corpses lay scattered across the cracked earth, and the air was thick with the stench of death. Amidst the deadly silence, a knight in full armor approached Luna, who stood quietly, her platinum hair fluttering in the wind. He respectfully reported, "Lady Luna, everything on this side has been cleared. We only need to sweep 5 more areas and the mission will be complete." Luna responded indifferently, her distant violet eyes gazing into the void. "All right, 4 more months should be enough then. Tell the knights to rest." Finishing her words, she gently flicked her giant sword, sending black monster blood splattering across the ground. "One more thing," Luna spoke, her tone unchanged. The knight immediately replied, "Yes?" Standing on the corpse of a monster with a gaping maw, Luna suddenly asked a question completely unrelated to the deadly scene around her. What do 9-year-old children usually like? The sword in her hand still dripped blood onto the dry ground, creating a strange contrast with the innocent question she had just uttered.